We've all heard the expression, never go into business with family or friends. And the reason that that is an expression to begin with is because people know that disputes happen in business relationships. Those disputes lead to a strained relationship, and you don't want to strain your relationship with your friends or your family. But the reality is, you should be going into business with people that you get along great with, that you love, that you care for. Who is that? That's typically your family and friends. The saying really should be, never go into business with anyone, including family or friends, without having a business plan in place that will allow the two of you to decide how we resolve those disputes. When people fail to plan, that is when the problems really escalate and cause a strained relationship, can lead to bitterness, and often what we call the business divorce. So how do you avoid that? Well, what you should do if you're starting a business, before actually opening the doors, you should meet with an attorney. And an attorney a good experienced attorney, can and will and should put into place what's called an operating agreement if you're establishing a limited liability company, or in the case of a corporation, put together some bylaws. Those bylaws and that operating agreement, they govern the relationship between the members, the shareholders, the officers, and directors, and it will explain exactly what's supposed to happen in that business relationship when these disputes arise. These disputes could be, well, for example, who gets to decide what money is spent where? Who gets to decide whether we're going to do marketing or researching this month? It could be as simple as, is money going to be spent on a firm potluck that weekend? Who decides that? Most people opening up a business don't think about these things ahead of time. They just think everything's going to be great. Attorneys, a good experienced attorney that knows business law and has some litigation experience, will know what problems you should anticipate and can advise you properly and can establish and fine-tune an operating agreement specifically to your needs to help you avoid these problems when they arise. Now, if you've already established a business and you don't have an operating agreement in place or you don't have bylaws in place, that's okay. You can always set those up even though the business is already ongoing. If they do arise and you don't have either one of those in place, it's still okay. The first thing you should do is get in to see an attorney. They can help walk you through the process to minimize the contention, to minimize the stress on the relationship, and hopefully save the business so that you don't end up in what we would call the business divorce court, which is bitter, ugly, it's expensive for everybody, and often it's very detrimental to the business and can even shut down businesses in some cases. We here at Denton Peterson have experience, many years of experience in advising clients in how to run their business, how to set up their business, get a good operating agreement in place, fine-tuned for your specific needs.